Bloomberg News says Taiwan will buy 400 land-launched Harpoon missiles from the US. It's the first time Taiwan has bought the land-based version of this type of missile. Congress approved the sale in 2020. This month, the Pentagon announced a contract with Boeing worth over $1 billion to build Harpoon missiles, but it did not say who was buying them. However, Bloomberg has reported that the missiles will be purchased by Taiwan. The contract says the order will be finished in 2029. US think tank CSIS says if China were to attack Taiwan, the missiles would be effective against invading forces. For more on Taiwan's move to strengthen its missile strike capability, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Blake Herzinger, a security analyst with the American Enterprise Institute based in Singapore.
Can you tell us what's significant about Taiwan procuring these types of missiles?
So Taiwan is seeking to blunt the potential for a cross-strait amphibious invasion. And the best way to do that is to attack a Chinese fleet at its most vulnerable point. And that is when it has troops embarked and it is trying to cross 100 miles of rough sea between the Chinese coastline and Taiwan. And anti-ship cruise missiles are the best way to do that.
Other countries in Asia, like Japan and the Philippines, have been also adding to its missile defense and strike capabilities. Do you think we're seeing a trend in the region for enhancing this kind of capability?
Absolutely. We've seen a considerable investment over the last several years in long-range strike, particularly standoff weapons and counter-strike capabilities from countries like Japan, which is very significant given remilitarizing Japan is something that we haven't seen in decades. We see it in South Korea, Vietnam, Philippines. All these countries are seeking ways to blunt aggression from the sea, which seems to correlate strongly with the Chinese Navy that has grown by leaps and bounds over the last 2 decades and has been used to coerce its neighbors across the region. It would definitely play a role in a more, maybe an asymmetric strategy, relying on things like cruise missiles and sea mines rather than things like large crewed ships or aircraft, which are more vulnerable and place Taiwanese service people in the firing line. If you can use a platform that doesn't cost lives to use, like a cruise missile, that husbands Taiwan's most precious resource, its people, much more effectively.
And given that more allies in the region are bolstering their defense, how does this help Taiwan in ensuring its own security?
I would say it's broader than even tactical military capability. It's significant for Taiwan militarily that all these countries are investing in similar capabilities. But I think the broader atmospherics, the fact that the region has woken up really to Chinese militarism and Chinese revisionism at sea, the fact that China is using its unparalleled military in Asia to pressure its neighbors, and this is often coming in the maritime space, on the oceans, in the littorals. And states are very interested in developing capabilities to counter that. That for Taiwan, that's important because they're not alone in being pressured by China.